Remakes rarely hit the mark, both artistically and financially. More often than not, they struggle to escape the shadow of the original. Iconic films, iconic stars, and iconic moments. But every now and then, a remake not only holds its own, it arguably improves upon the source material. One such exception, the Thomas Crown Affair. Originally released in 1968 and directed by Norman Jewison, the film starred the undisputed King of Cool, Steve McQueen, opposite the electrifying Faye Dunaway. Over 30 years later, a slick and surprisingly successful remake landed, this time with Pierce Brosnan, then at the height of his 007 fame, and Rene Russo, also at the top of her game. The original Thomas Crown Affair was written by Alan Trustman, who had Sean Connery in mind for the lead. Connery had just wrapped up his fifth Bond movie, You Only Live Twice, and was the hottest star on the planet. But after weeks of back and forth, the filmmakers relented and gave the role of the bank-robbing millionaire playboy to Steve McQueen, who was actively lobbying for it. Connery passed and ended up making the Western Charlotte, a decision he'd later regret. At the time, McQueen had just come off The Sand Pebbles, where he played a naval engineer, and Crown was a notable shift. A slick, stylish turn from his usual military men and cowboys. Director Norman Jewison was initially unsure whether McQueen could pull off the millionaire playboy image, and he admitted he'd never even seen McQueen wear a suit. Still, they'd worked together before on The Cincinnati Kid, and McQueen soon proved he could carry the part with effortless swagger.
Enjoy my money.
Take his picture.
Faye Dunaway, fresh from her hit Bonnie and Clyde, was reportedly Jewison's only choice to play the insurance investigator, Vicky Anderson.
Hello, Charlie. How are you, boy?
All clear. 10 after 3, check in again at 3:40.
Between McQueen's iconic Persol sunglasses, which he made famous, and Dunaway's 29 different outfit changes, the film practically redefined on-screen cool.
I investigate.
Anything in particular?
The bank, Mr. Crown. The caper, sir. You don't expect us to take the loss of over $2 million lying down, do you?
To me, I think the story is quite tragic in lots of ways. It has a theme to it. Here's a man who has everything, who has power, but he doesn't have love. Here's a woman who has power and doesn't have love, and they both find each other, but they're both hunters, they're both predators, and they both can destroy each other, and yet they love each other.
Think you'll get me?
I hope so.
The film stands out for its direction, music, and visual flair. From its split-screen intro to the now famous chess seduction scene.
What to do?
Jewison once quipped the film was a study of two shits, but audiences clearly disagreed. It became a cult classic and earned composer Michael Legrand an Oscar for his song, The Windmills of Your Mind.
He started in films as an actor. Today, he's more involved.
Just months later, McQueen's legend was cemented when he was to start filming on his cop classic, Bullet.
You're enjoying something. It's not me. What is it?
An entertainment.
Good, cut, please.
Director John McTiernan, who'd also remade Jewison's Rollerball with a lot less success, took on the Thomas Crown Affair with Brosnan in the lead. At the time, Brosnan was in peak Bond mode, starring in his third outing, The World Is Not Enough, which would be released the same year. He also popped up in Grey Owl, a lesser-known drama directed by Richard Attenborough. The remake kept the spirit of the original, but updated the plot, replacing bank robbery with art theft, and adding more dimension to supporting characters, like Dennis Leary's world-weary detective, Michael McCann.
Him? The big day for this guy is taking off his tie. He's a finance geek.
Is he?
Gone with the chess games and polo matches. In came a catamaran
I'm cutting in.
and a sizzling tango dance sequence.
Bond. James Bond. Another new banker. I seem to collect them.
Brosnan, under Bond contract, couldn't wear any tux outside the franchise, so that's why his bow tie stays undone, and his Patek Philippe watch goes unbranded, as he was contracted to Omega. This version leaned more heavily into the love story, with undeniable chemistry between Brosnan and Russo.
In the original movie, once they screwed, the fire went out between the two of them. Suddenly, Faye Dunaway was laying on the bed next to him, and it was like it was over. That was something that I didn't want to happen. So, I mean, I think you'll see in this movie that it only really gets started once they...
By this point, Russo had already proven herself a match for any leading man, starring opposite Clint Eastwood in The Line of Fire, John Travolta in Get Shorty, Kevin Costner in Tin Cup, and of course, kicking ass as Lorna Cole in Lethal Weapon 3 and 4. Here, she delivered one of the most confident performances yet.
Well, obviously he didn't see you in Bride of the Mutant.
You saw that one?
There were also respectful nods to the original, glider scenes, golf, and of course, Faye Dunaway, returning in a cameo as crowns shrink.
Peter Pan decides to grow up and finds there's no place to land.
Clearly having fun in the role. This souped-up Mustang Jeep is a clear nod to Bullitt and McQueen, and this is also one of the last film appearances of Ben Gazzara, who appears in a cameo playing Crown's lawyer.
Think you'll get me?
Oh, I hope so.
The film was a box office success and confirmed Brosnan's star power outside of Bond.
Do you want to dance? Or do you want to dance?
A sequel was planned, loosely inspired by the 1964 film Tokapi, with Robocop director Paul Verhoeven slated to direct, and names like Angelina Jolie and Charlize Theron thrown in the mix. But creative differences derailed the project. McTiernan's career, meanwhile, took a darker turn soon after. The man who also helmed Die Hard, Predator, and The Hunt for Red October was jailed for federal crimes, and his version of the sequel script, that he wrote while incarcerated, never saw the light of day. But the Thomas Crown Caper franchise, it seems, is to have another comeback. As of now, Creed star Michael B. Jordan is set to both star and direct a new reboot of his very own Thomas Crown affair. If it goes ahead, it will mark over half a century since McQueen first stepped into Crown's shoes.
Well, aren't you going to wish us luck, Mr. Crown? You overpaid.
As for Brosnan, post-Bond life has been kind. Roles in The Matador and The Tailor of Panama showed off his range.
I'm MI6's man in Panama. It's dark and lonely work. Like oral sex, but someone has to do it, Harry.
But it was the Thomas Crown affair that really cemented his versatility beyond 007. Stylish, seductive, this was a rare remake that lived up to, and in some ways surpassed, the original. Michael B. Jordan, it's over to you.
Let's play ball.